I think you were a medium, weren't you, Nate?
Yeah, I was. I was a yellow when I took the assessment there.
Yellow means caution. Yellow means caution. Don't necessarily not want to go there, but you may not want to go there.
They want to go there.
And the people who are going to be the high assessment risk are a red flag.
So again, let's go back to that real quick, because I think it's an important point, is green, yellow, red, low, medium, high. Why would somebody be a high-risk assessment? I mean, how does the system, how can a system tell an operator this is a high-risk person?
Sure, again, by the pattern of results, what we're seeing is this person is answering the questions in a way that suggests they're not going to be the people who you want on the job. So that would be a person who says, no, putting forth extra effort doesn't lead to success. It's a person who doesn't want to do what they need to do on the job every day. You don't need to spend your time working with these folks.
Yeah. So let's talk about what that means back to the original business results.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so that means that employee who might, let's say, be $1,000 turnover risk is very likely to be a $1,000 turnover risk. And that's the same employee who's not going to be adding the $2.44 cents
to the per check
average. That's right.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think to Mara's point, in today's economy where you're competing for every consumer dollar, you don't want somebody who is not going to put a good face to the organization, to your customer.
Absolutely. Charles?
So what else we got, Charles?
Well, for example, let's say we're looking for a bartender in Charleston, but we want to make sure that that's someone who is going to be a low risk for our organization. So again, we can use the search here and just say low risk bartender Charleston.
Look at that.
And look, Kara.
I mean, Kara Glore, there she is, right there. Kara does a wonderful job for us. She's also a bartender in Charleston, according to this. And so she's been pulled up. She has low risk.
And she also has not been pre-screened.
Yeah, tax credits
So
have
as
been done.
we talk about the tax credits.
So we can see we're adding on all the components now. We've gone from just doing a basic application to the tax credits, now to the assessments there. We've added it on. And Charles, you actually have, we can go actually and see the results, right?
Right.
Yep.
Again, it's the progressive disclosure. That might be enough information for you about this person, but if you want more, you can just come here and pop up the full results that are provided.
And this is really, really cool. So again, let's go back, David, and talk about when we hit submit on the applicant side of that application earlier. We transmitted it with those assessment responses. It sends it real time to your system. Your system automatically scores it, and this is what it returns back to the operator, the hiring manager, whoever's at the HR office.
Right. And again, consistent with the platform that you've built, our system will send back the results so that if you're very busy, you don't have a whole lot of time, let's look at the top line.
Right
go
there,
back
up
down,
there.
Charles,
bring right down there.
Low
Bob.
risk, so that's a good to go. We're ready to go with this person. But if you have some time, you want to look at a little bit more detail.
Because actually the summary and all the detail about what this person would embody.
Right, and it tells you what this person is going to do. So it's not a horoscope. It says, this person is going to may do these kinds of things.
Right.
It's basically telling you that this person is going to demonstrate high levels of courtesy. She, in this case, is going to volunteer to help others. They're going to volunteer for extra tasks. So things that you want to see in your business that will drive those results that we've been talking about.
So operators tell us they want teamwork. And this is saying teamwork. And operators tell us they want servers or bartenders who will not walk by a customer. This is what this is telling us. And it reminds operators that that's what they are looking for and that's what they're going to get.
Right. Wow. And so if you scroll down, you have the high-level summary, and then you have here the two different subscales of the two different parts of the assessments, the Brand Ambassador Index and the Dependability Index. Doesn't do you any good to have a great person who never shows up for work. So we want to make sure that we get that information there. So we've got a person who's going to execute their duties, arrive for work on time in the proper uniform, et cetera.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty
very, very impressive. Round of applause to David and Mara there.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
Great.
Very awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Good.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's good to see you.
Thanks for having us. We'll see you later.
Absolutely. It's exciting to see how it all comes together, and you can see the different components now that we've kind of pulled in the assessments, we've pulled in the tax credits, we can pull in the background checks, and you can really see the power of the system starting to emerge and how it can help make operators' lives a lot easier and can allow them to make better hiring decisions. And it's a much more fun experience for the candidate. I would encourage you to go out there and use some other systems out there to apply for jobs. It's bad TV. I often say it's so frustrating when you go out there and you see these systems and you try to use them. It is not simple. It is not easy like that. It doesn't walk you through the process. It's very hard. There's a lot of scroll bars, a lot of tiny little radio buttons out there. And so this is where we really hope you've seen where we're going to really change the way talent management is done. We're bringing a whole new, radical, easy-to-use system out there. I want to take a moment now to introduce my next guest, who has really been a wonderful, wonderful inspiration for me in getting into this opportunity with operators in the restaurant business and in other service-based businesses. My next guest is somebody that is a prolific user of technology and social media. He has over 25,000 Facebook followers. He has been written up in numerous magazines and journals and been recognized nationally, not only for his culinary achievements, but also his use of technology in building his business. He's currently on an aggressive campaign right now to launch a whole new set of concept restaurants all across the United States. Please give a warm welcome for Chef Brett McKee.
What's up, man?
Good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you, too. Do we need to peg someone with this?
Yeah, just hit something.
All right, who's got it? Right there?
Right there. There you go.
All right.
Come on, Brett. It's like the Tonight Show there. You get to go over and take a seat in the chair.
I had the casting couch out back.
Do you have the top 10 list with you?
You know, I'm always on the top 10 list. I'm
You
number
are
one.
always on the top 10
Good
list
that I can't see you guys out here.
Yeah, it's hard to see them out there, but they're out there.
I was always told just to imagine everyone naked in the audience, and then I wouldn't get nervous. So that's good. I'm picturing you all naked right now.
That's right. This is where the interview is going to get real colorful at this point in time.
I promise
Not
that
right
I
now.
won't.
Brett, you're a guy I've known you a long time, and I've admired all of your work over the years, not only your culinary work, but more recently your technology and your use of social media. Tell the audience real quick, because you've got just an impressive story about how you bring technology and social media into your concepts.
Well, you know, we're starting this new thing. For those of you who don't know, I'm going to be leaving Oak Steakhouse and Oku Sushi. So I'm doing this whole new roadside kitchen, and I'm going to do probably about 20 new locations in different cities in the next 2 years. The whole restaurant concept here behind the roadside kitchen, one day I bought this property in Mount Pleasant. I was sitting by the pool, and I do have a tremendous amount of people on my profile and my fan pages and my group pages and all of the other restaurants. And I put this post out. I said, I want to do a roadside kitchen. And I said, this is not the road that you're on today. I asked people to go back 2 generations and ask their grandparents. Go back to, like the movie Ratatouille, when he ate that little ratatouille and the memories were created. I said, go back in time, talk to your grandparents, and inspire some dishes for me for this roadside kitchen concept. Overnight, I got 267 responses. There came my concept for a new group of restaurants that eventually will take public, is using the social media. I run contests on a weekly basis, and I know how to. I'm thoroughly entertaining. For those of you who aren't on my profile, you have to wait to get on there, but it is a very entertaining, and what that does is the use of that entertainment makes people want to pass it on to friends. So I've used it to a great advantage. Now I'm doing a whole restaurant concept.
And you actually design your menus around your social media network. Talk
Yeah,
about how you do that.
What we do is we go in different cities. We just opened up 2 weeks ago in Charlotte, and we've got ink to paper in Greenville. I was just up in Nashville this week. So as we go into different areas, what I do is I build up a fan base. And again, I tell that same story. So 40% of this roadside kitchen menu is the same. 60% is just based on demographics. When I go up to Greenville and I start telling this story, I have people asking for Wiener Schnitzel, a Hassenpfeffer, or a Spätzle. I've got a lot of German influence from BMW. I have people asking for Sicilian-style Fragula stew or some eggplant Parmesan. I have Ferrari, and I have a lot of Italian influence. And then I have the traditional low country. When I talk to people who I know in Pittsburgh about what they would want to see, I'm seeing more pierogies and borscht and stuffed cabbage because I have more of a Polish influence. So it's all these people, and really demographics dictates what menu I do. And what we do also is we started every week at the restaurants. I put out a post and I ask people for an inspiration for this weekend's upcoming specials. And it's a contest. So we go back and forth with people, my chefs at each restaurant along with me. We engage with our fans. And then it's a contest. Whoever's dish gives me the biggest inspiration, they win the contest, and they come in for dinner for 4. Now what I do is several times a week I'll get ideas from people, and then I'll go back to their profile, and I'll tell them, I'll acknowledge. I don't, and this is what I have to be careful with my staff, is we don't generalize it. I personalize it. So I might say that this dish was inspired by Nate DePore when his mother Deb cooked this great dish, 20 years ago when Nate was just born. But I'll go back to Nate, and then what Nate will do is say, hey, this is pretty cool. You need to come out to 17 North tonight because
It's my dish.
my dish.
Right. That's it. That really is neat.
It's a game.
It is fascinating. You travel a lot of places, and especially with this aggressive growth campaign that you guys are on, which is truly, truly impressive to see. You interact with a lot of other operators, a lot of other chefs, a lot of other owners of restaurant business. I know they call you all the time for advice. And what are some of the big challenges that they're facing out there today?
Well, some things, with this PeopleMatter, when we first spoke about this, for me and for multi-unit restaurant chains, some of the challenges, I like to make the final decision on everyone I hire. Call me a micromanager. So I think some of the challenges is turnover. Turnover is just a major waste of money, a major waste of time. It brings down the entire team. When you have that, there's some elements of embracing change. Change in a good core team is bad because you haven't done your research. Although with this whole model, if you understand the people I hire, it's probably all the people that he would red flag as don't hire. That, so I'm kind of the opposite. I'm the guy that if you came to me with a resume from, we won't have some Ivy League school, and you had a hospitality and tourism degree, we probably might not get along. If you came to me and you were just on a work release program from jail and you were the most popular guy in the joint and had a hospitality personality, I can teach you the rest. So, I'll probably, everyone he red flags, I'll say, that's my guy, come on, we'll get it going on. But the challenges are, some of the technology is really intriguing to me that I never even knew in the restaurant business that I had any possibilities for tax credit.
And you saw earlier how we've talked a lot about this, how we've brought in, for instance, the Facebook profile picture is something that's an option that somebody can have displayed in there.
Well, before, you were never allowed. I always like to see, and not that it's in a discriminatory way, but I like to put together the right team. And when he told me that I can actually see the people because of the Facebook, so number one, I get him to vet them for me, which I just had a situation coming up where I might have lost a potential employee because I couldn't get a background check done in a 2-day time frame. So that's going to help me tremendously. Number two, tax credits. Who in the restaurant business ever knows about tax credits?
Who has the time to administer tax credits?
No, and then with the looking at the people, I'm at a point now where for some reason people hold me in this high esteem. So it gives me that little thing of when I go into a city, if I go back to Charlotte and I can look at the list that he's helped me, well, I can pick those names out, face to a name, so that when I walk in, I'm not big, bad Brett. I'm just another member of the team, and I know all of my staff. So when in the hiring process, I like to see what they're about. I like to know the history. I know the tax credit, and it just makes me create a much better team when I walk into a place, and I'm going to do these all over the country, and no matter where I walk in, I know that I can put that face to the name.
Yep. What is talk to the audience because it's really fascinating. You talked a little bit about earlier about some of your expansion plans. Where are y'all going? Where is the roadside kitchen concepts going next? I know you get asked this all the time from a lot of.
I'm going all over the place. Anyone have any ideas, suggestions? Where should I go? Coming to a neighborhood near you soon. What we're doing is I've done a little demographic research, and I have looked for secondary cities that are economically sound this year. Will be my, what we're doing immediately. We're doing Charlotte, we just did, Greenville and Nashville. Those are the next three, and those will all be done by January. And then I'm looking at Birmingham, Raleigh, Columbus, Ohio, Albuquerque, Houston. These are secondary cities that are economically sound. D.C., for those of you listening in the back, yes, I will go to D.C. Find me the location. So these are on the radar. And then, when you do these searches, and again, it's funny, his use of Google is everyone will come up to me, whether it be charities or employees, and, ask me for an answer to a question. And they always think like I'm the Wizard of Oz, the man behind the curtain. Really, the man behind the curtain is Mr. Google. So